66. I'm at the bottom of a hole. Dirt is piled on my legs. I can't move. I open my mouth to cry for help, but suddenly a head peers over the edge. It's so dark that I can barely make out the person's features. I squint and stare until I realize that it's George. He's working furiously, sweat pouring down his forehead. His eyes are breathtakingly beautiful, even in the darkness. Shovels of sediment rain down on my body. "Stop!" I scream, but George continues until I am nearly covered, and when he looks down at me again, I realize that it's not George at all, but Geoffrey, with blue eyes instead of brown. I gasp. Dirt coats my tongue and my throat. I flail around, hacking and cuffing, and suddenly my mother is with me, my head in her hands. Her tears pool next to me until everything is soaked, and I am drowning. "Wake up, Jiwon, wake up," she says. "I'm sorry," I murmur. None of this is real, I know it, and yet I want to touch her, comfort her. "I'm sorry I wasn't a good daughter." She's so far away and my arms are too heavy to move. "What do you mean?" she says, her voice gentle. "You're the best daughter." Dream Amma hushes me, and in her eyes I see a warning. "Don't say anything else," she's saying. I clamp my mouth shut and wait to be pulled all the way down into the void, but instead of shrinking, my body grows lighter, and the darkness around me turns bright. I blink, confused. Am I dead? I'm in a hospital bed. There's a beeping coming from behind me. I sit up and feel the tug of an IV in my arm. My head throbs. I touch it and realize that half of my hair is missing. On the side that's shaven clean, there's a line of stitches, puckered and raised. "Jiwon!" Umma shrieks. She grabs me, peppering my cheeks with kisses. "Oh, thank God! Thank God!" Next to her, Ji-yoon is smiling tearfully. She squeezes my hand. I look around, trying to get my bearings. "What happened?" Umma and Ji-yoon exchange a look. "You have a brain tumor," my sister says softly. "Well, had." I gape at her. "A brain tumor?" Ji-yoon nods. "They gave you an MRI because they thought you had a concussion. But they saw something else in the scans. You had to go into the emergency surgery. They weren't sure if you were going to make it." "I don't understand." Ji-yoon hesitates, glancing at Amma. "We don't either." "How long have I been here?" I croak. 4 days. "And the tumor? Did they say how long I've had it?" "It's hard to say. It's possible you've had it your entire life. They don't know." I close my eyes and lean back against the thin pillow. There are blue orbs imprinted on the black of my eyelids, and I focus on them. George's eyes. Even though I can see them clearly in my mind, there's no pleasure or desire attached to the memory. I concentrate hard, but I feel nothing. What does this mean? Hope bubbles inside of me, perhaps a lifetime of pain isn't my destiny after all. Perhaps I'm meant to live a normal life. I look at Umma. Where's George? Umma casts a worried glance at the door of my hospital room. Is he alive? Yes, Umma whispers. Your friend did a number on him, Ji-yoon says. Joffrey is not my friend, I snap, and Ji-yoon is taken aback. I clear my throat. Where is he? There's an awkward silence and I can sense their hesitance. Eventually, Umma says, You're safe now. No one can hurt you. But what happened? I ask. We've been trying to figure it out. As far as we and the police know, you, George, and Geoffrey were found at an abandoned construction site, the one off of Vermont. They tried to ask George when he woke up, but he wasn't making much sense. Geoffrey claims that you told him to meet him there, and when he arrived, you were already there with George. He said that George was strangling you, and he had to knock him out to protect you. I touch my throat. It's tender and swollen. I wonder which room George is in. Luckily, one of the neighbors was out on a walk with her dog. She heard screaming and called the police. When they arrived, they found you and George unconscious and, well, they arrested Geoffrey and took him to jail. Ji-yoon leans in, whispering, Is that really what happened? What were you and George doing over there? Ji-yoon, Umma smacks her on the arm. The police are going to ask her anyway, Ji-yoon says. It's better if she talks to us first. Ji-yoon's right, I say, before Umma can argue with her. I asked George to meet me. I wanted to talk about the wedding. Umma puts her hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry, I tell her. I should have talked to you first. I was trying to take care of you. She nods, wiping away an invisible tear. But when George came and I started asking him all these questions, he got more and more upset until we started fighting. Then Joffrey showed up. Ji-yoon picks up my phone from the side table and hands it to me. He has been calling and texting you every single day. He tried to come in the other day, but the nurses stopped him. Who? I ask, confused. Joffrey. I thought. He's out on bail, Ji-yoon says. The police said that there were no witnesses who could contradict Joffrey's side of the story, so they couldn't keep him for more than a few days. We fall silent at Ji-yoon's revelation. I look around my room. It's so empty. There isn't even a window. The TV tucked in the corner is tiny. There's a door in the wall that appears to lead into the room next to mine. Umma disappears, leaving Ji-yoon and me alone in the room. For some reason, this seems to anger my sister. What's wrong? I ask her. Nothing. I can see right through you, you know. Ji-yoon bites her lip and mutters under her breath. She went to see George, she whispers. I stiffen. A few minutes later, Umma returns. Visiting hours are over, and before they go, Ji-yoon hands me my bag. Your phone is charging. If you need anything, call me. We'll be back tomorrow. I wait for them to leave before getting up from the bed. I can barely move. Each step feels like I'm walking through the glass. but the curiosity burns through me. I want to see George with my own eyes. I have to know where he is. I hold on to the IV bag, pulling it with me, the wheels rattling over the vinyl flooring. I peer down the ward at the line of doors along the wall. Where is he? 67. I'm deeply asleep when a set of hands wrap around my neck. They tighten, throttling me, cutting off my airflow. I pound at them, desperate to get free, but they are too strong, and my eyes, for some reason, they are sealed shut. There's some kind of goopy liquid running over my lids, and I can't open them. I can't see, but I know who it is. The heavy breathing, the grunts. It's George trying to finish the job. I dig my nails into his skin, breaking through flesh. He squeals in pain, releasing me. I rub at my eyes in frantic desperation, trying to get them to open. No, they are open. I'm blind. The place where my eyes should be is empty. They are gone. I hear George somewhere in front of me, his teeth gnashing together, and I know he's feasting on my eyeballs. The scream tears through my throat. I bolt upright in the bed and feel my face, my eyelids, my eyes. It's all there. It was just a nightmare. 1 week later, I have a surprise visitor, Alexis. She hugs me, squealing, fussing over my ill-fitted hospital gown and the stitches lining half of my head. I have to say, the new hairstyle suits you, Alexis says, laughing. I can't believe you make fun of a surgery patient, I tell her, frowning. That's so mean. I'm not making fun, she says innocently. I like it. It's edgy. She plops down in the chair next to me, leaning in. I admire her long eyelashes and count her freckles one by one. So, what happened? She asks. Are you allowed to talk about it? I tell her what I told Amma and Jiyun. Alexis gasps as she listens to the story, her mouth dropping. That's insane. I know. Have you talked to Geoffrey at all? No. I pick up my phone. But he has been calling and texting every day. I haven't responded, but he won't stop. I show her the screen. Are you okay? Jiwon, call me ASAP. We have to talk. The police think I did something wrong. Hello? Are you getting my messages? I tried to come see you, and they won't let me in. Please, can you let them know that I saved you, and that it's okay for me to visit? Alexis makes a face. Oh my God, just block him at this point. I probably should, I sigh, and put the phone away. I shake my head. You need to rest, she says, watching me. I should go. I'm wistful when Alexis leaves. Even though she promises to come back soon, I watch her go, warmth spreading throughout my chest. I'm thankful that she has forgiven me and that we are friends again. 4 times a day, the nurse comes by with a cup full of pills. He is both enthusiastic and garrulous, asking me how I'm feeling, whether I'm hurting. I grit my teeth and pretend to be cheerful, even though every time I nod, It feels like shards of glass are being pushed through my skull. I take everything he gives me except for the two little round pills that are stamped with a tiny R and P. Those I hold under my tongue until he walks through the door. When I'm certain he's gone, I take them out and hide them under my pillow. I know they would make the ache disappear, but the pain serves as a reminder. 68. The doctors tell me that I am in great shape considering everything that happened. It's rare we see a patient recover so quickly from surgery, they say. Umma beams. Jiwon isn't like anybody you have ever met, she says. We want you to be comfortable at home now that we know how you're healing. A few more weeks here, and then you'll be sleeping in your own bed. Isn't that exciting? I nod, barely listening. Every time Umma comes to see me, she leaves under the pretense of using the toilet or getting a snack. But Ji-yoon and I both know what she's really doing. Nevertheless, we look the other way, pretending like we don't know, letting the awkwardness of the situation grow between us. Since I'm doing so well, the doctors let me go outside to get some fresh air. Umma and Ji-yoon are given strict instructions to watch me, to make sure that I don't overexert myself. Don't let her walk too much, they say, wagging a finger in my face. It's such a beautiful day. The air is so crisp and clean. I throw my head back to look at the sky, which is so blue that it makes my eyes hurt. I think about George sleeping somewhere in the building. I wonder if his eyes are as blue as I remember them to be. There are other patients milling about in their gowns, but I ignore them. We walk to the edge of the perimeter where bushes hide us from the main road. There's a beautiful vanilla-like smell emanating from the greenery. I take a deep whiff, looking closer. It's oleander. I watch through the window as Umma leaves my room. She takes a right and disappears. There are 5 rooms next to mine and then an elevator at the end. I try to picture it. Is George on this floor? Or is he on another one? Can you get me some water? I ask Ji-yoon. She points to the pitcher next to me. No, I complain. I want cold water with ice. Ji-yoon stands up. I'll get it. Do you need anything else? I want something to eat. As soon as my sister is gone, I get up and peer out into the hallway. A nurse sees me and hurries over. Do you need something? She asks. I shake my head. I was looking for my mom. I'll let her know. She gives me a tight smile. I wait for her to move, but she stands there, refusing to budge. You need to rest, she says. We can't have you wandering around. Right. As I shuffle back to my bed, I hear a voice from the next door, my mother's voice. She's speaking quietly, but I recognize it right away. It all makes sense now. George is in the room next to mine. I press my ear against the metal door that connects the 2 rooms and hear my mother clearly. I twist the handle, but it's locked. I rap my knuckles against it. Umma? She stops talking. I knock again. Uma, is that you? I hear the lock turning, and then my mother is there, grimacing through the crack. Do you need something, Jiwon? What are you doing in there? I push the door open and see a figure lying on the bed. George. Before I can get a good look, Amma hurriedly walks through, shutting the door with a snap. Where's your sister? She's getting me some water. Right, right, Amma says, distracted. I got lost looking for your room. I smile at her and pat her hand. Of course. Don't worry, Amma. 69. Uma and Ji-yoon come to visit me daily, staying until the nurses kick them out. Even Alexis comes to visit me every week, sneaking in an assortment of snacks, a pack of Swedish fish, which we crush in a matter of minutes, homemade brownies covered in a thick layer of frosting, a bag of hot Cheetos, the wrapper rustling loudly. The only person who is conspicuously absent is my father. I keep expecting him to come through the door, but he's nowhere to be seen. Does Appa know? I ask Amma. She blanches. Know what? Amma asks. She's looking everywhere but at me. That I'm here. Amma nods. Her lips are pressed into a thin line, disappearing into her mouth. And what did he say? He's worried. Is that all? I push myself into a sitting position. Amma hurries out of her chair to help me. I'm fine, I snap. What else did he say? Why isn't he here? Before I understand what's happening, I'm crying, weeping, the words dripping out of my mouth like acid. Why doesn't he care about me? Warm hands touch my back. I breathe in the familiar scent of Ji-yoon's sweet, strawberry-scented shampoo and squeeze my eyes shut. Your father is busy, Amma says softly. She's sitting down again while Ji-yoon holds me, cradling me like a child. My mother picks at her broken nails. A line of blood floods the cuticle. She pops it in her mouth and sucks, her cheeks caving in. I didn't want to tell you until you were better, Ji-won, but your father is having a baby. There is a pained, awful silence. I stare at Ji-yoon. She stares back. Isn't that good news? Uma says, weakly. A boy. You'll have a baby brother soon. Long after they are gone, I sit and stare out the window. A baby brother, a boy, my father's dreams coming true. Before she left, I asked Ji-yoon if she was okay. I'm fine, she said. She clung on to me, refusing to look me in the eyes. There's nothing we can do. 70. George appears to be sleeping, but I know better. Before I went to see him, I crushed the oxycodone pills I've been saving, dissolving them in a glass of cranberry juice. When I trickle the liquid into his open mouth, I know that all the pain I've endured these past few days has been worth it. His breathing slows, growing fainter and fainter until it stops completely. The handle of the knife is wrapped in my dinner napkin, and, even as I work at sawing George's eyeballs out, I'm careful not to touch anything. The blood oozes out from each empty, gaping socket. The napkin is stained pink. I stand back, admiring my work and the weight of George's eyeballs in my hand before hurrying back through the connecting doorway into my room. For dinner tonight, the nurses brought me a tray of chicken and rice, vegetable soup, and a single cup of cherry jelly-o. I sit at the edge of the bed and drop the eyes into the pile of rice. The irises, still blue, watch me. Using my fork and the knife, I cut off a tiny sliver from the white. It breaks open, a clear fluid leaking out. I take a bite. It's heaven, exactly as I remember, salty with a hint of sweetness and that metallic tang that reminds me so much of beef liver. It takes everything in me not to shove the whole thing in between my lips, to eat, to swallow, to devour. I must be slow and meticulous. I bring a spoonful of rice to my mouth. It cuts through the richness. I cut piece after piece, bringing each delectable morsel to my mouth. When there are only a few bites left of my plate, I pick up the phone, scrolling through all the missed calls. Every single one is from Geoffrey. I dial his number and listen as it rings. "Geoffrey," I say, "it's Jiwon. Can we talk?"